Hello, brothers and sisters from the United States. This is my personal letter number 3. The immoral misery and abandonment of Skid Row and the immoral fortunes of billionaires are not strangers to each other. They are twin siblings. Modern oligarchies are the inevitable result of free market capitalism, a political economic system designed so that a tiny group of people captures the vast majority of the nation's wealth. Under corporate capitalism, governments do not serve all citizens. They do not manage public money with long-term vision, empathy, or social responsibility. Governments like that of the United States and many others actually work for the wealthiest and their interests. The state functions beneath corporations, not above them, as it should in a functional, humane, modern democracy. In an ideal democracy, public funds, the people's money, should be managed for the common good, seeking prosperity and happiness for all of society. But in an oligarchy like the United States, that same public money is managed primarily to benefit the rich, and the laws protect them so they don't pay the taxes they should. If the US GDP has grown year after year, as it has for decades, every citizen in your country should feel that benefit, that shared wealth generated by all of you. And given that the US is the richest country in the world, simple logic will suggest that its people should enjoy the best labor protections and the highest minimum wage on the planet. It will only be reasonable for every citizen, not just a lucky few, to enjoy the highest standard of living in the world. Yet, tragically, the only two political institutions that have governed your country for the past 200 years, those old, incompetent, and corrupt parties, have never served as public servants. They've acted instead as temporary managers for the wealthy. You have never had a truly humanist government. With ethical and socially responsible leadership, the richest country in the world should guarantee every citizen high-quality free healthcare. The richest country in the world should guarantee every citizen high-quality free education. The richest country in the world should offer the best labor protections. The richest country in the world should actively pursue its people's happiness, addressing the root causes of addiction, homelessness, and all forms of violence. The richest country in the world should be the world's leading social example, not one of its worst, with all due respect. But the money you need to make ends meet, the money needed for universal healthcare and education, the money that could build a happier society, it's rotting right now in the vaults of a handful of men like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and other oligarchs. The social cost of having a government that acts as a corporate manager is visible everywhere. Social neglect, crumbled infrastructure, and broken, underfunded public systems of health and education. Meanwhile, the media owned by those same oligarchs have worked tirelessly to manipulate your society. They've programmed you to believe that tax cuts for billionaires benefit everyone. That's a lie. They've programmed you to believe that raising the minimum wage causes inflation. That's a lie. They've programmed you to think the state must be weak. They've programmed you to assume public services are inherently inefficient. And they program you to blame people outside the US for your own problems. They've conditioned you to accept the corruption and incompetence of the only two parties that have ruled your country for 2 centuries. Because oligarchs need weak parties and weak governments to grow without limits. They need politicians without principles, politicians they can buy, to attach their vacuum cleaners directly to the public budget, whether through contracts or tax exemptions. Billionaires aren't accidents. They are the natural outcome of a system engineered for extraction, accumulation, and exploitation. And in that sense, social decay is also built into the system. So, in my view, billionaires themselves aren't the core problem. The problem is the system that rewards the rich while abandoning the poor. When you hear that one person earned in a single year enough money to feed and house 1 million people, You shouldn't celebrate it. You should be alarmed, because that money, which could provide dignity to 1 million workers, sits in the hands of one person, often indifferent and free of social responsibility. There is only one national wealth, and it should be cause for alarm, not celebration, that a tiny group keeps a huge share of what your entire society produces together. Over the past 50 years, the United States has grown richer in theory. In reality, most of that wealth simply stayed at the top. Meanwhile, wages froze, inflation went unchecked, and in real terms, entire segments of the population were completely abandoned by governments of both parties. Most Americans gained nothing from corporate profits or endless wars. You only paid for them. That's why you don't enjoy the high living standards that should come with being citizens of the world's richest nation. Your wealth is being hoarded by a handful of oligarchs and spent in immoral, irresponsible ways. So, to fix this, you don't need violence, individual or collective. You need something far more radical. You need to purify and moralize American public life. You need politics to mean public service again, not vulgar personal ambition. You need a form of government that is truly patriotic and humane, one that places the interest and well-being of its own people first and last, not those of domestic or foreign power groups. This isn't about communism. Please stop fighting imaginary enemies. What you need is a system where public funds, the people's money, are used exclusively for the benefit of all the people, all of you. This is how many of us in the global South are slowly but surely solving our deepest problems. With honest, transparent, and humanist governments, the fact that your old political structures are no longer working doesn't mean decline. It means the best is yet to come. Can you even imagine what could you achieve? The social and technological leaps you could make if you used your nation's wealth wisely, humanely, and with long-term vision? American greatness hasn't even begun, but we'll talk more about that later. See you next time.
My fellow citizens, today marks a new beginning for our great nation, a future built on prosperity and shared values.